In the vast theater of history, where empires clashed and destinies were forged, what happens when a nascent faith, still finding its footing, dares to confront the might of the world's most formidable power? Can a small band of believers, numbering in the thousands, face an army so colossal it seems to stretch beyond the horizon? This is the epic story of the Battle of Mutah, the first direct encounter between the young Islamic State and the mighty Byzantine Roman Empire. A clash where 3,000 Muslims faced a massive Roman army, and courage was tested against overwhelming odds. And remember when Allah restrained their hands from you, and your hands from them, in the interior of Makkah, after He had made you victorious over them. And ever is Allah of what you do seeing. Surah Al-Fath 48:24. Our story begins in the 7th year after the Hijrah, corresponding to 629 AD. By this time, the Islamic State in Medina had grown significantly. The Muslim community, having survived the intense pressures of Mecca, the challenges of Badr and Uhud, and the existential threat of the Battle of the Trench, was now a formidable force in Arabia. The Treaty of Hudaybiyah, signed in 628 AD, had brought a temporary peace with the powerful Quraysh of Mecca, recognizing the Muslim state as an equal power and allowing the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to focus on spreading the message of Islam beyond the Arabian Peninsula. The Prophet's mission was universal. He sought to invite all of humanity to the truth of Islam, not through coercion, but through clear communication and peaceful invitation. In line with this mission, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, began sending letters to the rulers of various empires and kingdoms, inviting them to embrace Islam. These letters were carried by trusted companions, serving as envoys of peace and truth. One such letter was sent to the Byzantine Emperor Heraclius, delivered by Diya al-Kalbi, a companion known for his striking appearance. Another letter was sent to Shurabil ibn Amr al-Ghassani, the Ghassanid governor of Busra, a Roman-allied Arab state under the Byzantine Empire. The Ghassanids were Christian Arabs who served as a buffer state for the Byzantines on their southern frontier. The Prophet's letter to Shurabil was an invitation to Islam delivered by his envoy, Al-Harith ibn Umir al-Azdi. However, the response from Shurabil was not one of acceptance or even diplomatic refusal. In a shocking act that defied all norms of diplomacy and international law, Shurabil ibn Amr al-Ghassani seized Al-Harith ibn Umir al-Azdi and brutally executed him. The killing of an envoy was considered an egregious violation, an act of war in itself, unheard of in the civilized world. An envoy's life was sacred, protected even by enemies. This act was not just an insult, it was a direct challenge to the nascent Islamic State and a blatant disregard for the Prophet Muhammad's, peace be upon him, authority. It sent a clear message. The Byzantine Empire and its allies would not tolerate the spread of Islam into their territories, even through peaceful invitation.
News of Al-Harithah's murder reached Medina, deeply affecting the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the Muslim community. The Prophet, peace be upon him, was heartbroken by the loss of his companion and outraged by the blatant violation of diplomatic sanctity. This was an act that could not go unaddressed. Allowing it to pass would signal weakness and invite further aggression. The Prophet, peace be upon him, knew that a firm response was necessary, not just for retribution, but to establish the respect and security of the Muslim state on the international stage. He decided to send an army to confront the Ghassanids, and, by extension, the mighty Roman Empire that stood behind them. This was a momentous decision, as it marked the first direct military encounter between the Muslims and one of the two superpowers of the world at that time. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, immediately began preparing an army. He called upon his companions, and a force of 3,000 Muslim warriors was assembled. This was a relatively small army, especially when considering the immense military might of the Roman Empire. The Prophet, peace be upon him, understood the formidable challenge ahead. He knew that the Romans commanded vast resources, well-trained legions, and numerous allied tribes. Yet his resolve was firm. He instilled in his companions the spirit of jihad, not as an act of aggression, but as a righteous struggle to defend the honor of Islam, avenge the murder of their envoy, and remove the oppression that stood in the way of truth. Before the army departed, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, appointed a unique chain of command, a testament to his foresight and the gravity of the mission. He declared, "Determined, Zayd ibn Harithah will be your commander. If Zayd is martyred, then Ja'far ibn Abi Talib will be the commander. If Ja'far is martyred, then Abdullah ibn Rawahah will be the commander." Sahih al-Bukhari, Book 56, Hadith 2891. This sequential appointment of commanders, all beloved companions, underscored the immense danger of the mission and the high likelihood of martyrdom. It was a somber moment filled with both determination and a profound sense of sacrifice. The companions understood the heavy weight of the mission. They were marching towards an unknown enemy, a superpower whose might was legendary. The air crackled with anticipation, a silent countdown to a battle that would echo through eternity, revealing lessons that would shape the future of Islam. The air crackled with anticipation, a silent countdown to a battle that would echo through eternity, revealing lessons that would shape the future of Islam. A small band of believers, armed with courage and faith, marched towards the unknown, only to discover an enemy of unimaginable scale, a confrontation that would redefine the very meaning of against all odds. And remember when they came at you from above you and from below you, and when eyes swerved in fear and hearts reached the throats, and you assumed about Allah various assumptions. Surah Al-Ahzab 33:10. The Muslim army, numbering 3,000 men, began their march towards the Byzantine frontier in the month of Jumada al-Ula, 8 AA, September 629 AD. Their route took them through the vast, arid desert terrain, a journey that was physically demanding. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, had given them clear instructions and a specific objective: to reach Mutah, a village in modern-day Jordan, and confront the Ghassanids who had murdered his envoy. The companions were disciplined, their spirits high, filled with a sense of purpose and a desire for justice. They understood the gravity of their mission and were united in their resolve. As they approached the village of Ma'an, located in present-day Jordan, the Muslim army received shocking intelligence. They learned that the Byzantine Emperor Heraclius had gathered a massive army to confront them. This force was not merely the Ghassanid allies, but a formidable imperial army estimated by historical accounts to be between 100,000 and 200,000 soldiers. This colossal number included well-trained Roman legions, numerous Arab allied tribes like the Ghassanids, Lachem, Judum, and Balkane, and other auxiliary forces. The sheer scale of this enemy was beyond anything the Muslims had ever faced. At Badr they had faced 1,000, at Uhud 3,000, at the trench 10,000. But 100,000 or 200,000 was an entirely different magnitude. This shocking discovery immediately halted the Muslim advance. The overwhelming disparity in numbers, 3,000 against potentially 200,000, was a moment of profound crisis. The Muslim commanders and senior companions held an urgent consultation. Fear and apprehension rippled through the ranks. Some companions suggested sending a messenger back to the Prophet, peace be upon him, in Medina, informing him of the immense Roman army and requesting reinforcements. They argued that engaging such a colossal force with their small numbers would be suicidal. This was a natural human reaction to a seemingly insurmountable obstacle, a moment where hearts reached the throats and fear threatened to paralyze their resolve. However, amidst this moment of doubt and deliberation, Abdullah ibn Rawahah, one of the appointed commanders and a renowned poet, delivered a powerful and inspiring speech that would turn the tide of their internal struggle. He reminded the companions of their true purpose and their ultimate goal. He famously declared, "O people, by Allah, what you dislike is that for which you have come out, martyrdom. We are not fighting the enemy with numbers, nor strength, nor multitude, but we are fighting them with this religion with which Allah has honored us. So go forth, for there are two good outcomes for us, either victory or martyrdom." Adapted from Surat Ibn Hisham and Musnad Ahmad, this powerful reminder of martyrdom, a core tenet of Islamic belief, reignited their courage and shifted their focus from worldly numbers to divine promise. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, had said, "Paradise lies under the shades of swords." Sahih al-Bukhari, Book 56, Hadith 28:18. Abdullah ibn Rawahah's words resonated deeply with this teaching, reminding them that their strength lay not in their numbers, but in their faith and their willingness to sacrifice for Allah. Inspired by Abdullah ibn Rawahah's passionate words, the Muslim army made the courageous decision to engage the enemy. They chose not to send for reinforcements, nor to retreat. They resolved to face the massive Roman army, trusting in Allah's help and seeking either victory or martyrdom. This decision was a testament to their unwavering faith and their profound understanding that their struggle was for a higher purpose. They advanced towards the village of Mutah, preparing for a battle that would be unlike any they had ever fought. The psychological tension was immense. They knew the odds were stacked against them, but their hearts were filled with a unique blend of apprehension and spiritual resolve. The stage was set for the clash of two worlds, a moment of immense sacrifice and a profound test of faith that would echo through eternity. The stage was set for the clash of two worlds, a moment of immense sacrifice and a profound test of faith that would echo through eternity. On the plains of Mutah, a small band of believers, armed with courage and conviction, stood against a colossal empire, their destiny unfolding with every swing of a sword. So you did not kill them, but it was Allah who killed them. And you threw not, O Muhammad, when you threw, but it was Allah who threw, that he might test the believers with a good test from him. Indeed, Allah is hearing and knowing. Surah Al-Anfal 8:17. The Battle of Mutah commenced. The Muslim army, numbering just 3,000, faced the overwhelming might of the Byzantine and allied Arab forces, estimated to be between 100,000 and 200,000. The disparity in numbers was staggering, making it one of the most uneven battles in early Islamic history. Despite the odds, the Muslims fought with incredible ferocity and bravery. They were driven by their faith, their desire for justice, and their unwavering obedience to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The fighting was intense and brutal, a desperate struggle against a relentless tide of enemies. As the battle raged, the unique chain of command appointed by the Prophet, peace be upon him, began to unfold. The first commander, Zayd ibn Harithah, a beloved companion and the Prophet's adopted son, fought valiantly at the forefront of the Muslim army. He carried the banner of Islam with immense courage, leading the charge against the overwhelming Roman forces. He fought until he was struck down by enemy spears, falling as a martyr in the path of Allah. His sacrifice was a profound loss for the Muslims, but it also fueled their determination. Immediately upon Zayd's martyrdom, the banner was swiftly taken up by the second appointed commander, Ja'far ibn Abi Talib, the Prophet's cousin and brother of Ali. Ja'far, known for his generosity and bravery, fought with unparalleled valor. He plunged deep into the enemy ranks, striking fear into the hearts of the Romans. When his right hand was severed, he gripped the banner with his left. When his left hand was also cut off, he clutched the banner to his chest with his arms, refusing to let it fall. He continued to fight until he was overwhelmed by the enemy, falling as a martyr. His body was found with over 90 wounds, mostly from swords and spears, all on the front, indicating his relentless charge forward. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, upon hearing of Ja'far's martyrdom, famously said, "Allah has given him 2 wings in paradise to fly with instead of his 2 hands." Sahih al-Bukhari, Book 62, Hadith 3816. This earned Ja'far the title of Du al-Janahain, the 2-winged. His sacrifice was a testament to his immense love for Allah and his messenger. Following Ja'far's martyrdom, the banner was then taken by the third appointed commander, Abdullah ibn Rawahah. True to his inspiring words before the battle, Abdullah ibn Rawahah fought with incredible zeal. He hesitated for a moment, contemplating the worldly life, but then pushed himself forward, reminding himself of the promise of paradise. He fought until he too fell as a martyr, fulfilling the Prophet's peace be upon him prophecy. The sequential martyrdom of these 3 beloved commanders, one after another, was a moment of immense sorrow and confusion for the Muslim army. They had lost their appointed leaders, and the sheer scale of the Roman army was relentless. The Muslim ranks began to waver, facing chaos and demoralization. It was at this critical juncture that the Muslims faced a severe crisis of leadership. With all 3 appointed commanders martyred, the banner was in danger of falling. At this crucial moment, the companions quickly rallied and chose Khalid ibn al-Walid to take command. Khalid, a brilliant military strategist, had only recently embraced Islam, just a few months before Mutah. His conversion was a significant gain for the Muslims, and his military genius would now be put to the ultimate test. He was not one of the initially appointed commanders, but the companions recognized his exceptional military acumen. Khalid ibn al-Walid immediately recognized the dire situation. The Muslim army was exhausted, demoralized, and vastly outnumbered, facing annihilation. He knew that a direct continuation of the battle would lead to total destruction. With remarkable presence of mind and strategic brilliance, he devised a plan not for victory, but for a strategic retreat that would save the remaining Muslim forces. He ordered a series of tactical maneuvers. During the night, he changed the positions of the army's wings, placing the vanguard at the rear and the rear at the vanguard.
He also instructed a small detachment to create dust and noise at a distance, making it appear as if Muslim reinforcements had arrived. This brilliant deception created confusion in the Roman ranks. The Romans, seeing unfamiliar faces in the Muslim front lines and hearing what sounded like new arrivals, believed that the Muslims had received massive reinforcements. They hesitated, fearing a trap or a renewed, larger assault. This momentary confusion allowed Khalid to execute a skillful and disciplined withdrawal, saving the remaining Muslim army from complete annihilation. The heavy losses on both sides, particularly the immense sacrifice of the Muslim commanders, underscored the ferocity of the battle. The battlefield of Mutah became a crucible of faith, courage, and divine intervention, revealing Allah's boundless power and the strategic genius He bestows upon His servants. The battlefield of Mutah became a crucible of faith, courage, and divine intervention, revealing Allah's boundless power and the strategic genius He bestows upon His servants. Khalid's brilliant maneuver had saved the day, transforming an apparent defeat into a testament of resilience and wisdom. Indeed, in their stories is a lesson for those who understand. Surah Yusuf 12:1-11.
Khalid ibn al-Walid's strategic retreat from Mutah was a masterclass in military deception and leadership under extreme pressure. By changing the army's formation and creating the illusion of reinforcements, he successfully tricked the massive Roman army into believing the Muslims had received new troops. This hesitation by the Romans allowed Khalid to withdraw the remaining Muslim forces in a disciplined manner, preventing their complete annihilation. The return of the Muslim army to Medina was met with mixed reactions. Some of the common people, seeing them return without a clear victory, initially criticized them, calling them fugitives. However, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, immediately understood the immense achievement. He praised Khalid ibn al-Walid, recognizing his brilliant leadership and tactical genius in saving the army. The Prophet, peace be upon him, famously called Khalid Saifullah, the Sword of Allah, a title that would forever be associated with his military prowess. This recognition of Khalid's strategic brilliance, even in a retreat, highlights the Prophet's, peace be upon him, wisdom and his ability to see beyond superficial outcomes. The Battle of Mutah, though not a conventional victory in terms of conquering territory, was a profound and invaluable experience for the Muslim community. It served as a crucial test of courage and faith against overwhelming odds. The immense sacrifices of Zayd, Ja'far, and Abdullah ibn Rawahah, and the steadfastness of the remaining companions, demonstrated the unwavering commitment of the Muslims to their faith and their Prophet. It taught them the harsh realities of fighting a superpower like the Roman Empire, providing invaluable lessons in military strategy, logistics, and endurance.
The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "The strong believer is better and more beloved to Allah than the weak believer, and there is good in everyone. Strive for that which will benefit you. Seek the help of Allah, and do not be helpless." Sahih Muslim, Book 46, Hadith 2664. Mutah was a stark illustration of this striving, even in the face of immense difficulty. The long-term impact of Mutah was immense. It was the first direct military confrontation between the nascent Islamic State and the mighty Byzantine Empire. While not a decisive victory for the Muslims, it was not a crushing defeat either. The Roman Empire, despite its overwhelming numbers, failed to annihilate the small Muslim force. This outcome sent a powerful message across the region. The Muslims were not to be underestimated. They were a formidable fighting force, capable of standing their ground even against a superpower. This battle paved the way for future Islamic conquests in the Levant, as it exposed the vulnerabilities of the Byzantine frontier and demonstrated the courage and resilience of the Muslim army.
It laid the groundwork for the later decisive clashes that would see the expansion of Islam into Roman territories. For modern Muslims, the Battle of Mutah offers timeless lessons. Courage in the face of overwhelming odds. It teaches us to never despair, even when facing seemingly impossible challenges. The 3,000 Muslims against 100 to 200,000 Romans is a powerful symbol of courage and reliance on Allah. The importance of leadership and sacrifice. The sequential martyrdom of the commanders and Khalid's decisive leadership highlight the critical role of strong, selfless leadership and the willingness to make ultimate sacrifices for a higher cause. Strategic wisdom and adaptability. Khalid's brilliant tactical retreat demonstrates that victory is not always about winning a direct confrontation, but sometimes about strategic thinking, deception, and preserving forces for future engagements. It teaches the value of flexibility and innovation in the face of adversity.
Reliance on Allah, Tawakkul. Despite the human effort and strategic brilliance, the ultimate outcome is always in Allah's hands. The battle serves as a reminder to do our best, then place our complete trust in Allah. Lessons from setbacks. Mutah teaches us that setbacks are not necessarily failures, but can be profound learning experiences and catalysts for future growth and success. It allowed the Muslim community to learn, adapt, and become even stronger. The Battle of Mutah remains a poignant and inspiring narrative in Islamic history. It is a story of immense courage, profound sacrifice, and strategic brilliance, all guided by an unwavering faith in Allah. The echoes of this forgotten battle continue to resonate, reminding Muslims that with courage, wisdom, and reliance on Allah, even the most daunting obstacles can be overcome, paving the way for greater triumphs.